So I'm here with Professor Grant from Harvard University talking about the Chicano movement. Where would you say the term Chicano came from?
The term Chicano derives from the phrase Mexica. Chicano was used to label the new immigrants to California from Mexico. It was used as a rally cry at protests and demonstrations.
So where did this movement start?
The majority of the Chicanos originated in southwestern United States in what was northern Mexico at one time. Settlements began in the 16th century and is what present-day New Mexico.
And how large would you say this movement is?
The Chicano population increased from approximately 3 million in 1940 to more than 20 million in 2000, with the sharpest rise coming after the 1970s when the Chicano movement was peaked.
What would you say the primary goals of the movement are?
The Chicano movement was trying to cover a very broad spread of issues, from restoring of land grants to farm worker rights to enhanced education to voting and political rights, all for the Mexican-American population in the United States.
So would you say this movement was successful?
The movement was successful in some areas that were crucial, but also did not accomplish some of the goals they originally set out for. They gained equal status politically, opened the eyes of the U.S. population on mistreatment towards Mexican-American race in work, civil rights, and politically, as well as gained immense awareness to the issues that Mexican-American population was having.
Today we will be interviewing with Cesar Chavez. Cesar Chavez, what do you consider one of your greatest successes?
I would consider one of my greatest successes to be the Grape Growers March from Delano, California to Sacramento in March 1966.
Why do you consider that march such a success?
I would say it was a success because it gathered a lot of attention through many people who otherwise wouldn't have gotten involved. It took 25 days for the whole march to conclude, and at the end, our first union contract was signed.
What was the first company to sign the union contract?
Shenley Farm was our first grape growing company to sign the union contract, and it was a big step forward for the people in the fields to get the rights that they deserved.
What other nonviolent means of the protest did you use to help the farm workers?
A lot of the times I used hunger strikes to set a better example to people who thought violence was the way to set things straight.
Were you successful?
I think my hunger strike in Delano, California helped remind people that nonviolent protest helps gain support for your cause. This was in 1969, and it was an important time to use peaceful protests.
This is Mariana Lopez, and she's a female farm worker during the time of the Chicano movement. Does it bother you being a farm worker?
Yes, but we came here to the United States so my husband and I can provide for our family, even though they pay a small amount of money to keep us below the poverty level.
How was your education growing up?
When I was a young girl, I came to the United States with my father and for a temporary time. I only went to school for 3 years and then began to pick produce for the growers. I did not get enough education because at a young age, I had to support my family.
How were your health conditions while working?
It was awful. We were exposed to pesticide. Our children were also exposed to the poison. I worried because we would be ill, and we would also exposed to the sun for long periods of the day.
What has been your worst experience with the pesticide?
There was a time when I was working the harvest and became sick. I had stomach pains, I threw up, and I had headaches. At times I would get the chills and itchy sensations all over my body.